enthusiasts. We're going to talk about the psychology of singing today. Whew. Psychology of singing. Singing is all in your brain. It's true, singing is thought controlled, and you can argue everything is thought controlled, and I can get on board with that. But since singing is not really something we can see, it's only something we can hear, and what we hear is simply the vibrations made, or sound waves vibrating. It's different. Singing is different. So let's have some conversation about the psychology of singing. You might have questions about another topic if you're tuning in, and that's fine. Just go ahead and ask away, all right? If you have any questions, ask at any time. So a quick example, yesterday was invited to sing, and I practiced this song. Has one phrase in particular that for some reason it's just hard for me. It's a challenge. Some days I nail it, some days it's not so good, and some days I wonder, well, let's say not days, but more like sometimes I wonder, why is this still posing me a challenge? Because I've been singing for a long time. Well, I still haven't cracked the code. So I'm on a mission to crack the code the next couple days. Well, next couple weeks. I'm just going to be practicing that one section over and over and over and over again. Not that I haven't done that, but still poses a challenge. So until I feel confident that I know exactly what to do and I can do it when I wake up at 3 in the morning, then I'll keep working on it. See, I can wake up at 3 in the morning and sing 90% of that aria, that song, no problem. The high B flat, never a problem. So, I'm singing yesterday. I get to the hard section. I practiced before, and it went well. Wasn't my best ever, but it was good. I get to this section, and it was just one of the worst. It just didn't work. It didn't work the way I wanted it to, and that is frustrating, especially when you're in the middle of it. There's no turning back. You're singing, everybody's listening, and it doesn't go as planned. Well, enter the psychology of singing. Hey there. Good to see you. If you have questions at any time, you can ask. So, hit this one section. It's hard for me. It doesn't go well. You can't turn back. You're in front of hundreds of people. You got to keep going. And that can be quite difficult. So I kept going, and everything else worked wonderfully. And I finished the song, not feeling great about myself because I wasn't 100% perfect, which none of us always are. And I got a lot of positive feedback. Sometimes the mistakes we think we make are bigger in our own mind than they are in reality. Now I know it wasn't good because I know I can do better, but here's the thing. When you're singing, when you're performing, you can't just stop and start over. You can't just walk off, walk back on. There's no pause. There's no studio. You don't get to do 5, 10, 20, 30 takes. I've literally been in live recordings with full orchestras where they did use the entire day to get a few notes exactly right. And that's what than everybody hears when they get the recording. Well, when you're singing live, there's no going back. All right? That's why all the Vocal Coach Reacts videos are actually very mean. They're mean because nobody's perfect live every time, and nobody's perfect anyway. So for your psychology in singing, number one rule, you got to learn to keep going. And you have to find a way to turn off that voice in the back of your head that's telling you, you just messed that up. That was horrible. Because if you start listening to that voice, guess what's going to happen? You're going to mess up the rest of the song. Things will start going really bad, really fast. So when you're performing live, there are always things that will go a little bit less than satisfactory. It's a big key when you're singing live. Got to get used to continuing. Just if a section doesn't go well, you got to know how to reset and continue on. This is why it's another big advantage of in your songs knowing how to reset each phrase so you get on track every time you sing each phrase, because one phrase you might get off track. And if you don't know how to get back on track, you're going to have a problem. Well, let's say you won't just have one problem, you might have many problems. So it's a big, very important tip for any of you that are wanting to sing live, even if it's just karaoke. You practice a song, okay? Got to know how to start each phrase, each section, to keep yourself on track. If in case you get off track, which you will, because nobody's perfect. All right? The psychology of singing. Continue on. Don't let a couple bad notes or a bad phrase throw you off track, because it's easy to get in your mind about it, feel embarrassed, feel frustrated, and then the rest of the song continues to just go down the drain. All right, finish it. If you are emotionally communicating to your audience, you're really telling the story, you're communicating to their hearts, they don't care if you're perfect. They really don't. What every audience wants to feel in every genre is genuine communication. Definitely looks like. All right. So every audience member wants to feel that you are authentically communicating your story to them. Then they don't really care about the mistakes. Okay? So remember that. You've got to continue. Continue on. Don't let mistakes block your singing, especially if you're singing live. It's tough. You got to just continue on. So in your practice, you've got to look at that as well and practice sometimes you got to do the runs of the song, where you do the entire song multiple times back to back. This is practicing stamina, and it's also practicing not stopping and restarting if the phrase doesn't go well. Okay, so that's the important part of your practice. Building stamina and running the song in its entirety back to back several times. That's just part of the way to practice, okay? I'm not saying you should not practice the song section by section. You absolutely should. But you do need to practice continuing to finish a song from beginning to end with no stops, to build stamina and to learn how to reset your voice when something goes slightly wrong. And it's psychologically, under performance stress, much more difficult. Yesterday, I was very relaxed, very calm, feeling confident. And as soon as I got up on stage, I got a little adrenaline rush. And I usually enjoy that. And I did yesterday too, but I could feel very clearly my heart rate raised. I started beating faster. So it's going to happen, and it's a good thing usually. Gives you just a little bit more energy and intensity, but it can run away with you. All right, do you have any questions? So, psychology of singing. I did start this off by saying there's a section of a song that I find difficult. Guess what? That means every time I sing the song, I'm a little apprehensive about it, which is going to make me do a better or worse job. What do you think? Obviously, worse. If you're nervous about something, if you're not as confident, then it's never going to go as well. Another element of the psychology of singing. But if you're prepared, you know what you're doing, your confidence level goes up. Then you no longer worry about it. Like in the same song, I don't worry about the B flats at all. I know how they work, and my voice works every time. So I have to get to that same level in my practice with the other section of the song, and then I have to relabel it in my brain from something that's challenging to something I know how to do. Psychology of singing. Make sense? It's all in your head. If you feel confident about it, you're going to do a better job. Always. Always. Confidence comes from know-how and repeatable results. If you don't know how and you can't repeat the results, it causes a lack of confidence. So, the game of psychology and singing can be won through continuous small steps, through reframing in your mind. Hey, I find this challenging is already progress from I always mess that section up, or I can't do that section. Change it to I find it challenging at the moment. I'm going to work on it until it becomes comfortable and I know how to do it, and it is just as reliable as the rest of the song. Now you're in a growth mindset. You can progress and you will get much better results. All right? Never beat yourself up. Never say you can't. You never will. You're terrible. You just sound awful. Very easy to go down that path, but it's not a healthy one, and it will not help you at all. So when practicing your singing psychology, be honest. Say, I find this section challenging. I need to work on it. I need to get some solutions, some guidance, so I know how to do it. I can practice doing it, so I can become confident in that section of the song as well. It's only a matter of time and practice until that happens. Now, your mind can focus on solutions and progress and helping you instead of you jumping out of the plane and pulling the ripcord, parachuting down and watching your dream fly away. The psychology of singing. Very, very important. You guys have a nice day. I'll see you next time on the next live.